What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, for this video, we're going to be diving into some Daredevil, issue number 29. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with Daredevil, I started picking up this line during the King in Black event. And if you want to check all that out, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well at the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on all of those issues. Now, this is written by Chip Zdarsky. Art is by Marcho Checchetto, and cover is by the same. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so this issue picks us up exactly where we left off. Daredevil in prison, and he has been poisoned. Now he's sitting here in the cafeteria, he's taken one bite of his food, and realized almost instantly that something's off. There's a wild ingredient floating around on his taste buds. And Marcus asks if he's okay, and he tells Marcus, like, don't freak out, don't do anything. You know, whoever just poisoned me, they're watching me. So I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk out of here nice and slow like nothing is happening and figure out a way of taking care of this. No, right now he is hoping that just one bite isn't fatal, but the room starts spinning on him and one of the guards catch him and go to take him to what we assume is the infirmary. But first he takes him outside. He takes him outside to try to get some fresh air, and we see all of the rain coming down and Daredevil sitting here trying to make himself throw up, trying to get all of the poison that is still in his system out, stuff that hasn't been absorbed into his bloodstream. But this is when he realizes that the guard, he's gone, and now he's sitting in the yard and he has a whole mob of prisoners coming at him. Now this is where we turn over and we pick up with Elektra. Now Elektra is teaching this kid that she ended up rescuing during the King in Black event. She rescued from the symbiotes, and she's teaching this kid, this girl, to be tough, teaching her how to fight and how to box. And the kid asks, you know, why are you doing this? And Elektra tells her, you know, you're weak, and because you're here, and because once she was also a weak child. You know, no mother and eventually no father, she had to learn a lot of lessons. And when you're weak, usually the best you can hope for is the strong ignore you, and in the rarest of cases, the strong may protect you. But there will always be people stronger. Your only hope is to be high on that list. And this is where Elektra decides to do a little demonstration. And she dresses up as Daredevil and goes and sits on the rooftop. And as they sit on this rooftop, they see two thugs here collecting a kind of security payment. Now, right now, Izzy is kingpin of New York. And this is her neighborhood. Those men, you know, collecting the security fees from local businesses. If the businesses pay, then Izzy's men, you know, won't destroy the business, and the strong ignore the weak. And the lesson here is that the strong who are meant to protect them are usually useless and corrupt. And this is where we see Elektra jump down and tell these guys it's time for them to pay up. Now, obviously, they're confused. You know, they work for Izzy, they work for Kingpin, and the real Daredevil, he's in prison. That's well known at this point. So whoever this girl is, you know, she's obviously way in over her head. At least that's their thought process. But this is when we see Elektra throw one of her katanas and break one of these guys' nose. And this is when the fight breaks out, if we can really even call it a fight, because Elektra takes these two down like it's absolutely nothing, and then takes the money from them, and tells them that they're gonna tell Kingpin that they're now operating in her territory, and they have to pay a security fee to her, 30 grand a month. And right now they're about $28,000 short, and lets them know that she better not see them again, better not see them in Daredevil territory without her money. And she tells the kid, you know, do you want to be strong, or do you want to be like the rest of the people? Are you content with being saved? And this is when we pick up in the prison yard, and Daredevil sitting in the rain on his knees. He knows things are about to get bad. You know, he knows from his teachings from Stick that poison does one of two things. They work by either speeding up your functions or slowing them down. But what he needs to do right now, and he needs to quickly regulate and purge his body, level out his heart rate and his breathing. And Foggy had also taught him something. They had gotten in a fight, you know, a while back, first year together, and Foggy, he danced. You know, this guy was coming at him and he started dancing. And Foggy told him, you know, this is a defense. no one wants to punch the dancing guy. Now, we're not going to see Daredevil getting up and doing the Irish jig, but what we do see is him meditating. And this throws them off, which is exactly what he was hoping for, because he just needed to buy a couple moments, just a little bit of time to heal himself. And this is when the fight breaks out and the real dance begins. Now, this is where we're shown Kingpin, aka Izzy, and we're seeing one of her little, security guys that Daredevil just beat up come in and tell her that there's a Daredevil tax out there and that they got beat up and robbed. And this is definitely something that she didn't want to hear. Fisk told her that the Daredevil situation was going to be taken care of, that it would be handled, but they still have issues. They still have a Daredevil hanging around. But as it stands, nobody is doing anything fast enough. And this, she's talking to Butch and telling Butch that she's thankful for everything he's done. Because if it weren't for him, she wouldn't have Hell's Kitchen to begin with. At the end of the day, the muscle, the men, they all follow Butch, and he is just being loyal to her. And she tells him more or less that she's grooming him. Though she does have a son, Dante, she feels he's too hot, he's too wild, and he doesn't know what's going to be best for Hell's Kitchen in the long run. But Butch does. And this is when we pick up and we see Matthew Murdock. Now, we're assuming this isn't a path because Matthew is currently in jail right now. And he's making his way, getting some food, and heading to the gym. And at the gym, this is where him and Butch meet up. And they go into a back room and they talk about everything going on. And it seems like Butch, he's doing his best to try to help out Daredevil here. To try to bring down Izzy. Because this is Wilson Fisk's son. And he wants to take the Empire back. At least that's the goal here. Now, this is where we pick up with Mayor Fisk. And they're going to like a top secret little location where they've been running experiments. Running experiments that have been failing for the most part, but things seem to be going in a much better direction. And this is where we see Bullseye, tied and strung up, being used as an experiment. He's still kind of beat up after the Battle of Hell's Kitchen. But the goal here is to be able to use this science experiment and giving them a bullseye that Mayor Fisk can control. And this is when we pick back up in the prison yard. And Daredevil is doing his best to fight off all of the inmates that are attacking him. But at the end of the day, he is still poisoned. He still has poison running through his body. And so it puts him on an even playing field with everybody here. He feels ribs shatter, all of the oxygen leaving his lungs almost instantly, gasping for breath. But he refuses to be the spot where he dies. He refuses to go down here. And he does his best to fight off all of these guys. And as he goes to take the last one down, the last one is able to get a shiv into his side, and we see them both collapse. And Daredevil sits on the ground, rain falling down around him, bleeding out with a shiv in his stomach. And before he passes out, he hears the warden on the phone. Looking down at him, he's relaxed, he's assured, and he says, "It's done. Daredevil is dead." And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think. I have thoroughly enjoyed this Daredevil run so far. We are seeing great character development of not only Matthew Murdock, but also of Elektra. We're really seeing her come into her own and trying to do the good thing, trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good person and fill the shoes of Daredevil while he's in prison. But not only that, she's essentially adopted a kid in the wake of the King in Black event. And she's brought this kid under her wing to teach her some valuable lessons that no one really gave her. Hoping instilling this in her will make her stronger, make her more capable as she gets older. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, help me grow this channel, and until the next breakdown.